Get this, that quote, it might sound like something straight out of a modern sci-fi novel, right? But it's not. It's a direct translation from an ancient Sanskrit text. And believe me, it is just the beginning.
See, this text, it's called the Vymaanika Shaastra, and it claims to be a guide to aeronautics, laying out everything from the pilot's training to the exotic metals and power sources you'd need to build these incredible flying machines. So for the next few minutes, we're going to follow these ancient instructions. Let's explore what it would actually take to build a Vimana.
Okay, first things first. What exactly are we building here? The text defines the Vimana in a few different ways, and honestly, each one is more incredible than the last.
I mean, just look at the scope of this. We're not talking about your average airplane. No way. The text describes a multi-terrain vehicle with interplanetary capabilities. It's a machine that can travel from one country to another, sure, but as it says right there, from one world to another. But here's where it gets really interesting. This isn't just some dry technical manual. It puts a huge emphasis on the pilot. It suggests that the person flying the machine is every bit as important as the machine itself. And the requirements for that pilot, well, they're pretty extraordinary.
According to the text, a pilot isn't ready to get in the cockpit until they've mastered a very specific and, let's be honest, a very unusual set of skills.
And that number is 32. The manual outlines 32 distinct secrets of the Vimana's operation that a pilot has to learn from a master teacher. And we're not just talking about takeoffs and landings here, not even close.
The mix of the technical and the mystical here is just incredible. The pilot has to know how to make the Vimana invisible, change its shape into a lion or a tiger to scare enemies, create a stunning sound, and even listen in on conversations happening in enemy planes. This reads more like a wizard's spellbook than a pilot's checklist, doesn't it?
Okay, so you've got your super pilot. Now you need to actually build the thing. The text moves from the person to the physical construction, and the list of materials is just as exotic. Right off the bat, the Shastra says normal metals won't do. You need 16 different types of special heat-absorbing alloys. And to get those, you first have to find 3 root metals, which are supposedly found in the 7th layer of the Earth. So, good luck with that. And the specific components? This is where it feels less like metallurgy and more like straight-up alchemy. Just take a look at the recipe for one of the mirrors, the power capturing one. It calls for things like diamond, coral, seashells, and tortoise eggs. Not exactly your standard building materials.
And these mirrors weren't just for seeing where you're going. This quote describes another one, whose function was purely defensive. It was meant to create terrifying illusions to frighten away enemy aircraft. The text says it could make the Vimana look like a lion, a tiger, or a giant, scary bird. It's like a psychological warfare device built right in. So, you've got your pilot, you've gathered your magical metals. The next big question is, what makes this thing go?
Now, this is one of the most fascinating parts of the text because it doesn't give us one single answer. Instead, it presents a debate, an argument between different ancient sages.
First, you have the opinion of Maharshi Bharadwaaja, the main author. He says there are 7 distinct motors that produce 7 different kinds of power, for things like going up, coming down, and even sucking in solar energy.
But then, another sage, Narayana, he disagrees. He argues that you only need 5 forces, all generated by a single dynamo, to produce all the movements you'd need. And finally, the sage Spotayana simplifies it even more. He claims that a single, all-powerful energy called Chitrini Shakti is responsible for every single one of the 32 different motions a Vimana can make. The fact that this debate is even included just shows how deeply they were thinking about these ideas.
Beyond the power source, the text goes on to detail 32 different machines, or yantras, that are supposed to be installed on board, and some of their alleged functions are just mind-boggling.
Take this machine, for example. The text basically describes it as an ancient television, allowing the pilot to see what's happening outside the craft in real time. The steps here lay out this whole process of focusing energy through crystals and liquid salt to project a live image onto a screen. I mean, what an incredible concept for an ancient document.
And the capabilities don't stop there. Other machines are described that could release poisonous gas, generate a protective halo around the craft, and even fold up parts of the Vimana, kind of like an umbrella, to protect them from damage during flight.
So when you put it all together, what do you really have?
You have a blueprint for a machine that seems to have impossible power and complexity.
So just to recap, the Vymaanika Shaastra describes a technology that could travel between planets, turn invisible, spy on enemy craft, engage in psychological warfare, and neutralize the harshest forces of nature. It's an absolutely incredible collection of claims.
Which really brings us to our final question. What are we supposed to make of a text like this? Is it a detailed account of a lost, hyper-advanced science from the distant past? Is it a prophetic vision of future technologies? Or is it maybe just a brilliant, highly detailed work of ancient science fiction? The text gives us the blueprints, but the answer to that question, well, that's something we're left to wonder about.